Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the sunlit paradise that is Morocco. This is an important place, partially because millions of people live and work here, but more so, it's the testing ground for KTM's rally effort. The harsh Saharan landscape offers an unrelenting mix of gravel trails, rocky climbs, and of course, dunes. It's a place for only the hardiest of motorcycles. You'd have to be absolutely bonkers to launch an adventure bike here. And with that... So then, welcome ladies and gentlemen to a KTM adventure launch. We are here together with the world's nuttiest marketing manager, Rian Neveling, and Dakar hero Ross Branch. And the bike in question is this: the KTM 790 Adventure and Adventure R. These are important motorcycles because they answer a very important question about adventure motorcycles. And they solve a very big problem. You see, customers are picky things. You got the adventure riders who want it rough and tough, so they buy a KLR 650 and then they go ride hard rocks and sand and mud and all sorts of things. But then they get to a stage where they need to do 1,000 kilometers of long roads in one day. And a few kilometers in, it is so torturous that they just give up. They lie down on a train track and beg for a train to ride over their head. Or you can get a big adventure bike like a 1290 KTM or a 1250 GS, and those are great mile eaters. And they love the long kilometers. I mean, they eat up the miles. But then you get to where it really gets tough. And a few hours later, after you've picked up that lump of metal 400 times, you eventually just leave it there, go to the train tracks, lie down next to the KLR rider, and that's that. It pretty much gives everything away in its looks. It looks kinda like the functional 690 Enduro, good for hard riding, but also has a good chunk of the aspects of the 1290 Super Adventure, good for long haul touring. Hint hint. It's like the 690 and the 1290 got drunk one night, had an intimate moment, and this is the love child. The motor, as you probably worked out, is a parallel twin dragged out of the 790 Duke. Except it isn't quite. I was a little bit worried about this motor at first because the 790 Duke is a very revvy sort of bike, which is great in a road sports bike, but how good is it in an adventure bike? That's why KTM have given it a good once over, which is why the horsepower is down from 105 on the Duke to 95 on this. It's been given a chunk more torque, especially in the lower revs. I mean, this thing pulls cleanly from 2,400 RPM. More so, this exact bike has the optional two-way quick shifter, so you can just go burp, burp, burp through the revs and it's fine. On the road sections, the bike was easily cozy enough, even on the long distance hauls. The lowered weight offered by those special tanks means turning into corners is a doddle, and then 95 horsepower is good for around 205 kilometers per hour, or so we're told. And of course, the motor is given a helping hand by enough electronics to run the new Falcon rocket, including a neat new feature. KTM have fitted this bike with the first ever slip regulator on an off-road bike. It's something they borrowed from the superbike department. And what it does is actually measure how much the rear wheel is drifting sideways under acceleration, and then uses the traction control to control it. All this is carrying a motorcycle that has a wet weight of just 209 kilograms. That makes it the lightest motorcycle in its class by miles. More so, both models have spoke 21-inch front wheels, and the R model has a massive 240 millimeters of suspension travel. Okay, so here we are in the sand, and to be honest, it isn't easy. It's a bit of hard work, but you know what, we're here, and we're riding, and I'm pretty sure if we were on any other adventure bikes right now, we would have just gotten stuck, abandoned the bike, set off on foot, and hope the vultures don't get us. This shows how good at off-road this 790 is, especially the R. KTM have even gone as far as calling it the best road-capable off-road bike in the world. If you don't believe us, watch Rian and Ross have a go at it.
Well, I have to say, that looks like the best launch that I never went on. I mean, Don, what an amazing setting.
It was epic. I mean, 2 days of riding in just absolute paradise. Really, no, I'm not joking. It's some of the best riding I've ever done.
Well, that does bring me on to my next question. I mean, the venue was fantastic. Is the bike any good?
The bike is, okay, it's exactly what they wanted to do, which was an adventure bike that you could still do touring and all that kind of stuff and go off-road on. And it is exactly that. I mean, it is comfortable enough. You could ride all day in these things quite happily. And then if you kind of stumble upon a rally or something like that, you could say, hey, I'll take part in that too.
So let's look at the differences. We've got a standard model here,
Yeah.
and this is the R.
Yes.
What's the basic difference?
Okay, the big difference immediately is the suspension. Now this uses what's called WP Apex suspension, which is kind of middle of the range. That is the WP Explore. That is, okay, minus some travel, is enduro suspension. I mean, their enduro bikes use Explore suspension. So that is full-on off-road suspension. More so the seat you'll notice is different. This has sort of got the two kind of pad seat. That is a single kind of off-road seat. This has a very kind of on-road mudguard that might go off-road and might go in water, so they've made it look like a duck.
Right.
Yes. The other thing is that special rally mode comes standard on the R. On this one, it's an optional.
What does the rally mode give you?
It gives you lots of fun.
Right, okay, that's a concise answer. Are we talking electronic suspension adjustment as well?
No.
Nothing
Just
like that.
in fact, this one has no suspension except for suspension adjustment except for preload on the rear. That one is all clickers. But the point of these bikes is not so much electronic luxury. This is like proper adventure kind of rough and ready kind of thing.
Talking of that, and it's interesting you say that, there's a couple of details I wanted to look at on here. Clutch, first of all.
Yes.
It's got a cable.
It's got an actual cable. I mean, this is
There must be a
braking
reason.
technology.
There must be a reason for
No,
that.
very simple. I mean, when you're stuck out in the middle of the nowhere, I mean, usually having a hydraulic clutch is lovely, but when you're stuck out in the middle of the nowhere and your clutch stuffs out, what do? I mean, with this, you've got some of the Explorers that they've already sponsored have actually put a second clutch, routed a second clutch on this bike, so
Just
when it
zip
does
tied to
break,
the old one.
just zip tied to the old one, so when it does break, you just change it.
Okay.
And I mean, there's more. They've really kind of thought this through. I mean, for example, if you take off the seat here, on this one, over here, simply click off. There is toolbox over there. And more so now, on most adventure bikes, if you want to clean the air filter, you have to pretty much drop the engine because it's hidden somewhere within the bowels. This one, the airbox is right over here. Two little bolts, out it slips, you clean it, put it back.
So it's actually designed to be useful in terms of maintenance and riding.
Exactly. So really, they've sort of thought, what does someone who's going to be out in the middle of the nowhere, long way from civilization need? And they've thought this through.
One other feature which I have to bring up is, okay, filler cap in the usual place.
Yes.
But your petrol tanks, they're down
Yeah,
here.
it's got a 20-litre tank. This is actually technology from their rally bike, because rally bikes run 36 litres of fuel,
Yeah.
which is a bit inconvenient when you're trying to, race through sand dunes and stuff. So what they've done is they've moved the fuel very low.
To keep the centre of
Yeah,
gravity
it's
low.
brilliant, but it serves two very good functions, because not only does it keep the center of gravity low, and you really feel it. I mean, after this, kind of all the other adventure bikes feel a bit top heavy. You never noticed it before, but this generally points that out. The other thing is that you see it's sort of sticking out. So if you do drop the bike, it doesn't fall kind of all the way over. A bit like a GS's cylinder, it kind of stops it, and then it makes it easier to pick up.
Is it not a bit vulnerable down there?
Well, yeah, you'd say so. I'm pretty sure if you hit a rock just right, it probably will break. However, on this launch, I mean, they had various groups come through, and the route was tricky. It was a properly tricky route. There was a lot of accidents. One bloke even crashed at 180 kilometers per hour, proper kind of, and not a single petrol tank broke. You can see a lot of scuff marks. I mean, it has got that protective cover over it. They were scuffed to all hell, but no broken petrol tanks.
Talking of crashing,
Oh no.
I do know that in your particular group, somebody crashed quite badly. He's all right. And also you crashed.
I did maybe do that.
You did crash.
Yeah,
What-
but
and I
it's-
mean, the fact that you're standing here means you're all right, which is cool.
No, it means I'm full of painkillers.
This is true. This is good. But what I want to know is the bikes that you crashed. So you and the
Yes.
other guy on your rotation, you both crashed. And they were pretty hectic crashes as well. We're not talking
Yeah,
like a
mine-
low speed, oops, fall over. This was a proper.
Yeah, mine I took a second gear corner in fourth gear, which is inadvisable.
Evidently.
Yes. No.
So my question is, were the bikes rideable? You crashed badly, and then
Yeah.
were the bikes rideable afterwards?
Mine-
Did you get up and get on and go again?
Okay, mine was an R. The screen broke off. In fact, the screen was actually fine. The bracket just broke off,
Yeah.
and it was easily fixable. And the mirror broke off, and that was it.
Wow.
got up and carried on riding. Perfect.
And they were big crashes. I've seen footage of them. Hopefully we'll put some on here for you. And
sadly, I didn't get one of mine, which is really annoying. I wanted to actually get up and do it again. Someone get a GoPro rolling.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so we've established that they are lovely things. Let's talk about price.
Yes. They're really, really not bad. I mean, you consider that Triumph 800 we had a little while ago is $199, and most of the sort of middle range are around the 200 grand mark.
Yeah.
This one, the non-R, 175,999, the R, 185,999.
That's not bad.
That's really not
For
bad.
what is, I mean,
that's really, really not bad.
I think can you really compare it to things like the Tiger 800 and the BMW F800? I mean,
yeah,
are these not really more off-road oriented?
Yeah, they're a lot more rugged and hardy than those sort of bikes. They're a little bit more travel. This is a little bit more kind of off-road hardiness. So that is a really, really good price.
It is a fantastic price. And are they in dealers as we speak?
There will be soon. I don't actually know.
We don't actually know. Okay, I caught him on the hop there. But, well, what a fantastic trip and an amazing launch. And it's nice to have you back in almost one piece.
Thank you.
We'll see you after the ad break.